So, dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. So, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And once we get connected with the other network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed one, the exalted one, the fully enlightened one. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take a few minutes for ourselves to clarify how this meditation can help for us to develop our inner awareness. So when it comes to meditation, the very purpose of this meditation is understanding the reality. So the reality is one way, is the true nature. Another thing is whatever we experience in this very moment is our reality. So why we can't understand it ourselves? Why we have to practice some kind of mental skills to see the reality? Because the one thing is the reality is it is not attractive. Reality is a very neutral. But our emotion, our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this all senses motivated by the desires, influenced by the desires. So the desires arise out of the ideas. So how the ideas come to the world when when we not able to understand the reality, what happens out of that very moment of misunderstanding, we bring some kind of thoughts into that experience, and that is where the ideas begin. Because if you really understand the reality, there is no ideas. So ideas mean you add something. You add something to your experience, or you add something to reality. So out of that, this conventional life comes. So what is the conventional life mean? When you get agree with other people, that going to become convention. When we go with other people, when we comfortable with others, when we adapt to others' ideas or the environments or the situations or the culture, traditions, that's become our conventional life. So your conventional life is not the reality. So the conventional life built out of ideas. So now we have to reverse the pattern. We have to go backward. We have to get out of the ideas. We have to get out of this conventional lifestyle to get into the true nature of our existence. So it can be done by just purifying our mind. So that purification doesn't happen if you again add some kind of imagination. If you add some ideas, it's not going to purify. Why? Because your mind get out of that the clarity, or your mind got polluted because of the ideas or the imagination. So then adding or using the same thing, you can't purify it. So the meditation is one way that you get out of the ideas. You get out of your imagination. And another thing is you get out of your conventional life. So what is the conventional life mean? Whatever you keep doing as an ordinary person in day-to-day life. So that the yogi mean, or the very ascetic way of practice mean, you are challenge yourself. So challenge, it's only practice point of view, we bring that word. You use some effort not to go with that ordinary current, but start to resist the void and step backward rather than go with it. So then when it comes to sitting, that the sitting itself, physically, you come to a kind of like a environment, you build up a situation to settle down. So then mentally, what you need to do in the beginning, don't remind or don't repeat that whatever ordinary things that you used to do. So thinking about past or the future like that. If your mind go that way, so bring it back again and again and stay with your primary mental object. So that is one way that you can bring the clarity. Because now your mind not repeat, not go with the imagination, or not influenced by ideas, and now settle down in the moment. So in the moment, what you experience become your wisdom. So that is your reality. And then by the time, if you are, maybe in the beginning it happened, then it will disappear. Then again, you have to do it again, you have to bring it back. So, and then by the time there is a moment come, it's called undivided attention. So that is the moment that you develop this tranquility state, undisturbed mind, undivided attention. Why that undivided attention? Because our attention always divided, go here and there. So another way to get out of the conventional life or ideology or the imagination is one thing, maintaining undivided attention. So once it comes to that your body, mind, that this everything will settle down itself. And once it comes to that level, you are capable to very clearly understand the experience, what happening to you. That understanding is another way we call the wisdom. Because when it comes to ignorance, there are many ways that it explains what is ignorance, avidya. So one thing is lack of knowledge regarding this outside world, the inside experience, or like that. And another thing is, this is very important, this misinterpretation, misunderstanding is a part of ignorance. So that means when you see something, if you misunderstand it, and that is a part of your ignorance. So then when it comes to the wisdom, when you see something, hear something, smell something, if you are capable to understand as it is, that is the beginning of the wisdom path. So then remember that in early Buddhism to today, there are some kind of discussions go that for this all suffering, one reason is ignorance. That is the main root, ignorance, misunderstanding, and regarding the self, and even we take suffering as the satisfaction and impermanent as permanent, so like that to be flipped, and we see the wrong side of things. Right things we recognize as wrong, wrong things we recognize as right. So like that, and the permanent existence of the self, so these kind of things. So through this undivided attention, you are capable to get out of the ignorance in one way. And another thing is, this ignorance has a deeper connection with something else. So today I'm going to bring it up, and then you can in day-to-day life handle it little bit and bring little bit wisdom to yourself, because this ignorance hide inside us with another friend. So maybe if you can't catch the ignorance, you can catch this partner of that ignorance. So what is that? That is greed. So the greed also play a major role related to our existence. And sometimes there are some scholars have some arguments, more than the ignorance, the greed is the major root for this all suffering. And some says that it is the ignorance. But somehow this both we have to understand, and at the same time this both has a kind of like the same kind of strength. So then in day-to-day life, if you can't catch the ignorance, if you can't work with the ignorance, it is very easy for you to work with the greed. And as you know, before the Buddha, even in the ascetic world, this asceticism and the yogic practice, and any shramana, that itself means whoever look for the liberation or the transformation. So in one of the major important thing they practice, cut down the go against to the greed, cut down it, reduce the power of the greed. So another way, when you reduce the power of the greed, the power of the wisdom start to go higher. So then now you have to understand when the greed is so high, as a result of that, sometimes what happens, the ignorance become more powerful because the wisdom disappears. So then in day-to-day life, look into yourself. And while you practice meditation, at the same time, as exercise, as homework, try to work with your greed, because it comes in different ways. It is just not only things we intake from our mouth. That is one thing. And you may do fasting, and you become vegan or vegetarian, or you cut down meals. So you may do many things. That is very important, because the food is one of the major things nourish the greed. But here the greed is not only the food. The greed with our eyes to look things or see things, the desires with our eyes. The greed to hear things. The greed to smell things. And greed to feel the sensation or the feelings. And greed for the wisdom or the knowledge or the new things or the ideas. This all part of greed. And that greed deeply related with the self-centered mind. And kind of like the idea of permanent. So that's why once you start to work with the greed, you are capable to bring the wisdom little bit more higher and stronger. So then from today, at that part also, how you can do that? So you are the one who can see your greed, work with it. And so whatever the greed arises, once you see it, don't give any chance. Because that greed is not only personally for you, and it is not a new thing. That's what you have to remember. The greed arises in you with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, has a long history. And it go beyond your birth. And that is the major one of the power that, that becoming happens. So then if you look for the change, if you look for higher existence, don't keep repeat things with the greed that whatever you used to do. So, and the very first thing is the recognition. So once you recognize it, and one thing is stay away from it and reduce the power of it. As example, if you want to eat something and maybe that the desire is so high in you, so maybe you eat little bit, and half of it, maybe before you eat, you give to somebody else. Or sometimes maybe you want and consciously you take a decision, no, you're not going to do that. So like that, you get out of the favor. You get out of the holding, grasping nature. So when you do that, by the time that the greed will slowly disappear. And one of the major things, how this greed going to be with us, because of our thoughts, we keep thinking again and again and again and again. That's why it is there so strong. So then it is your responsibility. If you recognize any greed, don't think about it. Another thing is bring some value to yourself and start to look something else. Another thing is look into the danger of the greed, because it has power to take you to the lower level of existence in the samsaric journey. It will never allow you to go higher. So the greed exists always in the lower level. So that's why it has power to pull you down. It has no power to push you. The greed always has nature to go downward. Greed cannot lift anything up. But the very nature of the wisdom, it always go higher. And once you hold it to the wisdom, and that is where your transformation can happen. That is where your existence going to change to a higher level. So then remember yourself. And be careful with your greed. It can come in many, many ways, but still it hold you as the same person. So through the meditation, once you tranquilize the mind, what happened? The current of the greed start to slow down. So that way also you can tackle it. And it's a kind of like you can hijack that. And other things, as you know, practicing generosity and practicing loving kindness, those are, will help for you in extra ways that to reduce the power of the greed. But important thing is seeing it and recognizing and knowing yourself when the greed arises, that it is the greed. So that power comes out of observing and practicing meditation. That's why it is very necessary. It cannot come out of imagination, out of thoughts. It cannot come out of ideas. Your recognition, true recognition, not going to happen out of ideas. Remember that. Why? As I mentioned from the beginning, the ideas, the very beginning of disconnection from the truth or the reality. That's where the idea came. We couldn't recognize the reality. We brought the ideas to explain that. So you see that if you try to use that, you will never get out of the greed. It will empower the greed. So that's why observing and recognizing and allow you to reduce that. So then there are two ways, the greed and ignorance. This both has a deeper relationship. Wherever the ignorance, there is a greed. Wherever the greed, there is ignorance. So then tranquility state in the present moment and allowing and seeing things as it is, developing undivided attention will help you to reduce the greed and the ignorance both. And once you capable to get out of that, your clarity become more vivid, your recognition become more sharp, and when you see, hear, smell, taste, feel right away, you're going to recognize the truth. So then your experience become your wisdom. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left, neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Suapat Veva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please, and find the sensation. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect you from all planetary influences or any kind of ill effects. Ittavata chami sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhamma nu dhamma patipatiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipatiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless.